Hey everybody, welcome to Slash Bash, where we have hit 5,000 subscribers. I want to thank all the new subscribers for getting me to this great milestone, and I also want to thank all the people that have been with me from the very beginning. You OGs, I really appreciate having you around. Today, I am bringing you another Choosing Beggar Reddit video. In our first story, too many Bridezillas drove our cake shop owners to close down their bakery. But don't worry, they thrived anyway. Let's jump right in. 50 years ago, my aunt was a very well-known cake decorator. She trained in France and taught making sugar flowers. She was one of the best decorators in our area, eventually making cakes costing tens of thousands of dollars. That was the heyday, but the business dropped out in the late 1990s, and they were not doing nearly as well for a long time. After a while, she could no longer make cakes, so my cousins took over the business about 15 years ago. They revitalized it, started doing art cakes, and getting well known in the industry. More business came, and with that, the particular species of choosing beggars called Bridezillas. You see, the average Bridezilla wants everything done her way to an exact degree. Sometimes price doesn't matter, especially if daddy is picking up the tab. Then there's the Bridezilla on a budget. All the entitlement, none of the funds. Quickly, my cousins figured out that with the low-budget brides, you have to explain how the cakes are priced. If he said $1,000 for a cake with 250 servings, they'd balk. If he said, the art fee is a flat $400 plus $2.40 per serving for 250 servings, which is $1,000 total, they were much more likely to pay. One day, a bride and her mother came to the shop to choose a cake and design. As a prep, my cousins would bake small cakes for taste testing of the flavors the bride wanted, usually 3 to 4. It takes time and effort to make them, because each one may need to be mixed separately, though the baking should happen at the same time. Each small cake needs to be built as a layer cake, then decorated with at least a buttercream or fondant to match the big cake. The bride and her mother picked the flavor they liked, talked about the number of guests, and then settled on a design and color scheme. My cousin then gave them the price, something like $1,500 for everything. It was a big wedding, which always includes delivery, setup, and breakdown or packing of the leftovers. The bride and her mother got very upset at the cost, and one said, "We can get a cake at Walmart for $150. Sure, but a Walmart cake isn't what they make, and he was done with dealing with them. He stood up and said, "Well, I'm sorry we couldn't reach an agreement. I hope your wedding day goes well and you have a happy life with your new husband. Good luck." He then waved them to the door. Needless to say, they got upset and started to squawk. I'm sorry, but I cannot compete with Walmart on price. My cakes are works of art and the quality difference is obvious. But if price is your only consideration, then I'm sure a cake from Walmart is going to be in your budget and you will be happy with it. He then talked them out the door, not even listening to their complaints, just saying, "Have a nice day." Obviously, they were trying to negotiate a better price, and they used Walmart as their comparison. The difference is that my cousins never competed with Walmart. They only competed with bakeries that specialized in making custom wedding and special occasion cakes. It's like going into a custom motorcycle shop, planning a build, and then asking them to match their price with the Yamaha dirt bike dealer down the street. My cousins shut down the cake decorating business soon after. From then on, they only made a few one-off cakes for special occasions, family events, or friends who were very close. No more commissions, no more Bridezillas. The story does end on a much happier note. The people who got rich in the gold rush weren't the ones looking for gold. They were the ones selling shovels, pans, and other equipment. My cousins instead ramped up the other side of their business, selling the colors that bakers use for decorating. What had been a small operation is now a multi-million-dollar a year worldwide business, selling hundreds of colors for batter, fondant and cream, edible glitters, and the equipment for decorating like airbrushes. Oh, really? It was a choosing beggar Bridezilla that helped push my cousins to go from surviving to thriving. In story number 2, a choosing beggar restaurant wants a glass cutter to create a 20,000-piece stained glass window. There's no money in it, but you know how valuable a shout-out is. A little backstory. My dad is 72. He spent 33 years working in a glass factory. They didn't make glass, they cut glass. Not bragging, but my dad is a true artist. He didn't just cut window glass, he cut custom designs and orders. So after the pandemic hit, I set him up with a YouTube channel. No, I won't share it because I don't share personal info on that level online. I got him all the equipment and showed him the basics of video editing. It's not a huge channel, about 8,000 followers, but he teaches people how to cut glass, tools you need, drilling glass, etc. Turns out the craft-making crowd was needing this. He tells his viewers to message him with specific questions. Some do. He has his share of trolls, of course, but he called me a little while ago about this message. A restaurant DM'd him wanting him to cut them a 20,000-piece stained glass window. Dad did this for a church a few years ago. The church one was 50,000 pieces and took him 9 months of workdays to complete, so he knew the work involved. It was a big job, but at least he thought good money, until he then read the conditions attached. They said he would be responsible for half the cost of the glass, which he estimated at a total of $5,000 in glass. He would be responsible for tools, where he figured he could use diamond cutting instead of wheel and save some money. They said it needed to be completed, boxed, and at their restaurant in 7 days after the work started, and they expected the work to be started within 2 days of accepting. If even one piece was not cut to exact specifications, he would have to pay them for their half of the glass and also replace the piece. He would not receive compensation, but his name would be printed once in the restaurant's newsletter. He would not be allowed to post the build or final project on YouTube. Well, Dad sent a nice thanks but no thanks reply. The restaurant followed up to ask him why he wouldn't take the job. My dad told them that the job would end up costing him about $3,000 to complete. They ended up sending a couple of messages back and forth, but clearly it was never going to happen. The owner didn't realize how this type of project worked. He told my dad, "People come in all the time, take a pic of their food and post it. They pay for their meal. Isn't that how influencers work? They pay you to post your products." At that point, my dad just blocked him. In story number 3, we have a choosing beggar family who are committing a warranty scam. I just read a story on here that made me think of when I worked in a call center for warranties. They put me in a program that handles warranties for deduct businesses. They went bankrupt or just closed for whatever reason. But we also handled some of the bigger, more complex warranties. One day, I was setting up an appointment when I noticed the serial number was not listed. I asked the customer to tell me what it was because it needed to be verified if the repair was going to happen. The guy went from friendly to cold, telling me it was none of my business, becoming defensive. While he was giving me his best big boy voice, I looked through his repair history. I noticed that this guy had terrible luck with his machine. We were out to his multiple homes, fixing a washer and dryer he towed around with him. I asked him to verify his address again, and he straight up loses his stuff with me. I looked further into his info as he was now calling me every name in the book. Oh wow, he has one of those new magic washer and dryer sets that change brand and size. I had to ask him how those worked since I had never seen them before. I asked him the brand again. He asked to speak to my manager. I am surprised he didn't have a stroke. I get my manager, explain exactly what is going on, show him the proof. He smiles that blood in the water shark smile and says, "Put them through." I only got to hear the first couple of seconds, but my manager told me what happened. My manager basically repeated everything I said, then my manager froze his account until they had the right machine and got the serial number. I was happy that I had stopped a scammer and thought nothing more of it. A few months later, we had a policy come out where all serial numbers had to be verified. I got a gift card for $100 at my favorite eatery. If they give me money, it gets taxed. So I am happy the head of the company thanked me for figuring out the scam that was costing mad money. I was just happy to ruin the beggar's day. In our final story, when our OP arrived home, this note was taped to the door. I was taking peppers from your garden because sharing is caring, and it was way too spicy. Please grow a mild pepper, or I'll report you for cultivating illegal plants. This is John from /bash. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed the video and want to see more of them, then please hit that subscribe button. We'd love for you to drop a like, share it with your friends, and we will see you in the next one.